Of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
Let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show. He cares, he shares, he knows. The journey of our youth is in our control. So tell your family and tell your friends that the word on the street is we all should listen in. So let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show.
Let's figure it out. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another show. Welcome to another day God has blessed us to give us to see. I'm just happy to be. How you doing? This is Archie of the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. Thank you for my Facebook fans that always tune in live. Thank you for my listeners all across the U.S. and abroad. Today's show is about losing a sibling. We all have been through traumatic things in our lives, and we've all seen people, go on for whatever reason. But to lose somebody unexpectedly in a tragedy is just, I don't know, words can't explain. Me coming from a law enforcement background, I've had to endure those type of scenes and those type of situations pretty much through my career, and it's not a pleasant situation to be in. So today's guest, I have Miss Tamika in the studio with me, and I also have Miss Valencia. So we're going to get right into the show. Also, the call-in number is 1-800-450-7876. Again, that's 1-800-450-7876. Please call in, to ask questions. Also, please call in and give some words, some good words, because like I tell you, this radio show is to help people. It's not to just be a form of entertainment. It's to actually help and to change lives and to give solutions and to just help people move forward their life. So let me turn the camera to my guest. Miss Tamika, say hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good. Miss Valencia?
Hello.
All right. So if you can, give me let the people know who you are, Miss Valencia.
My name is Valencia Clipper Davis. I am the CEO and founder of Valencia's World, which is a conglomerate of 5 different businesses. To learn more about each one of the businesses, go to www.valenciasworld7.info.
Outstanding. Miss Tamika?
My name is Tamika Carter, and I am the owner of Samello O Shoes by Boots. And if you want more information, you can go to Shoes by Boots.
All right, there you have it. And of course, you know me, I'm Archie, the coach, Beslow. That's me. So today's topic is, let's see, that's where we start. So you guys, you want to, let's get right into it. We know what it is that we're here, why we're here, what the show is about. So Valencia, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
Based off of the situation with you and your brother, how have you, at this point in your life, what are some of the things that you've done to cope? And if you can enlighten the listening audience on your story to start out, so people can actually follow the show. And you have to bear with my guests too. This is not something that is easy to talk about, but I am grateful and thankful that they took the time out to come on my show to share such a situation for the masses to hear.
Okay. For me, my brother and I are 4 years apart. When he was born, I was the average kid. Like, this little boy got to go. He can't stay here. When you taking him back, that type of thing. As I got older, we became really, really attached when I was without him for a while. He was always a rebellious kid. So he went into like a little group home at like 12 or 13. At that point, I was losing my mind. Like, I need my brother back with me. I can't be without him. over the years, everybody always said, your mother had him for you. My brother was the first person that really, really taught me outside of my parents how to love. So we were really attached. Fast forward, as I stated, he was in and out of trouble. He did a lot of things. He was that street kid. So he was incarcerated quite a bit. But in 2009, he came home in February after being gone for 5 years. And it was maybe like mid-February. March 24th is his birthday. So we partied. That was his 30th birthday. I took him out. I never party with him because he's so overprotective that if anybody look at me, bump up against me, he's losing his mind. So I never party with him. But this particular year, I said, okay, it's 30. I'm taking him out. We're going to have a good time. We had an amazing time. That was the 24th. The 27th, I want to say like 11 o'clock at night, I'm asleep. I get a phone call from a guy that was with him saying, you need to come around Forest Creek. Your brother been shot. And I'm like, okay. My initial thought is I'm dreaming. I'm having an awful nightmare. But then he kept talking and I'm hearing screaming in the background. So I sat straight up in my bed. A friend at the time came and got me because my husband was like, you cannot drive out there. You cannot, go. But he couldn't leave because our kids were in the house. So a friend of mine came. We're speeding down the road. I get to the scene. All I see is all this yellow tape. And from where I was standing, I can see him. But the officers weren't trying to let me walk over to him. I had a difficult time with that. But the husband of my girlfriend, he was like, look, that's her brother. Just let her go, walk with her over there. This is something she needs to do. Yeah. So he let me do that, and I walked over there. One of the things that I can say happened for me at that time was I felt a sense of peace. Because leading up to that day, I had my brother prepared me for this day.
Okay.
While he was incarcerated, maybe like 3 years before he was murdered, he would tell me, karma comes back. If something happens to me, I want you to promise me that you will not be angry. And I used to tell him, I don't want to talk about that. Right. So he would leave it alone, but then he would, revisit it, and he would say, Chocolate, I need you to promise me that you would not be angry. I hurt a lot of people, and I know that, we're just visitors here. My day is going to come, and I need you to promise me that you are not going to be angry. You're going to be okay with this, and you're going to do what you always do and push forward. So when he came home in February, I listened, and I wanted to see where this conversation was going to go. This time I didn't cut him off. I just listened. And he told me, he said, I just really need you to understand that being angry is not going to change anything. You have to think about the people that I've hurt. Their family was hurt. You can't be angry. The only thing you can do is find something positive out of me not being here and push forward. So he prepared me, and I told him I can't promise him that, but when I stood over him, a sense of peace came over me because he had this silly smirk on his face. Like, is it to say I'm still winning? Okay. I'm at peace. Okay. You okay? I'm at peace. So I was okay. I walked away from him. I did not cry. I did not face this and actually mourn his death until maybe like 5 years later. Okay. I was so busy. I kept busy. And Tamika and I were discussing, because my brother's been incarcerated throughout his life, in and out, mentally, for me, that's where he was. Okay. He was still incarcerated. The longest I've been away from him was 5 years. So after that 5 year mark, something hit me, and I'm like, wait, he not coming home.
Not coming home, yeah.
And I had a complete meltdown. I was in my bathroom, and I had a complete meltdown because it hit me, and I realized, okay, he's not coming home. He's really gone. And everything just stopped. You know, I had that moment where I wasn't running from it by staying busy and working and doing all this and doing that. So I had that meltdown. But what I did was I started my nonprofit organization that same year. Mm-hmm. He was murdered in March. July, I launched my nonprofit, Valuable Blessings. And I launched it based off of conversations that he and I had. He did not have a high school diploma, so we kept talking, and he was like, I want to do a GED program, or I want to do some type of program that teach the kids that, to stay in school.
Okay.
So the nonprofit organization is valuableblessings.org.
Right.
You can go visit that.
All right, so we're gonna come right back. Listen to WO 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, WODCnews.com, where information is power. This is the Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out. We'll be right back. Thank you.
You gotta tell me this like 10 minutes before time.
All right, so we're still live. So this is how we do it. So my listeners, you guys just finished hearing Miss Valencia. It's a very touching subject. Let me see what we're talking about. Good morning, what's up, fam? So
is everybody situated? It's a lot of bumping around.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I was moving the mic.
Okay. Okay, just make sure you guys are positioned right so you're good. This extends out if you needed to.
Oh, it can go to you.
Sister Tanya here getting us straight.
Yeah, because then when you start hearing too many background noises, it takes away from what you're saying.
I got you.
Thank you.
Thanks, D. So Miss Naomi said, God bless you for sharing your story, ladies. What we got? Who else we got here? There's a lot of people listening. For no making show. Got you. So I don't want to do a lot of it on Facebook. I definitely want a lot of people to hear it on the air, but we are actually still live. Okay. So a lot of people. What type of advice can you give? Because in the world today, moms and dads and brothers and sisters are losing people. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So and we were talking offline. You never overcome it, and that's the facts.
Right.
So what are your coping mechanisms? How do you cope? Because I'm quite sure that thought never leaves you.
Never. I try to focus on all the positives, the positive moments that we had. My brother and I had a lot of deep conversations. He confided in me, I confided in him, and I just hold on to those memories. One thing I tell people all the time is, please don't let anybody tell you that you should be over this by now. Mm-hmm. The 27th for me marks 11 years. And to me, it seems like the older I get, the more difficult it is for me. So don't let anybody place a time frame on your grieving. Grieve the way you need to grieve, but try to hold on to the positive.
All right. So I also have Miss Tamika in the studio, so I'm gonna bring her up live on Facebook once we come back on. I don't know, and we talked about the whole thing that you was talking. I'm gonna talk about this on the air as well. I was a police officer. And when I was a police officer in 4D, Georgia Avenue, Morton Street, and all that stuff. Then I became a cop, undercover cop in 6D, which is Benton Road, Simple City, Eastgate, and all that. So one of the things that would never ever leave me, that sticks with me, is to actually see dead bodies lying on the street, and to actually have to tell their mom, their dad, or their little brother that they can't come and touch their child. It's a very thin line with. We're coming back.
WOLDCnews.com.
Just answer questions.
All right, so yeah, we're back. We're back on the air. We just finished talking to Miss Valencia. So now we're gonna turn the mic over to Miss Tamika. Tamika has a story that she wants to share with you guys as well. Miss Tamika?
Hi, again, my name is Tamika Carter, and I lost my brother 10 years ago. My brother was my rock. He was my heart and my strength. When I got that phone call that he passed, put me in another place in life for 10 years. I was held hostage. I got the phone call right 2 days before Christmas. And when I got this phone call, they told me that he had got shot. And maybe about 5 minutes later, I got another phone call stating that he had passed. My brother was our family. Even though I am the oldest, he was our family's strength. I mean, he was the person that no matter how, if you made him mad, he would tell you how he felt. He would grab you and hug you so tight and let it go. When we got that call, when my family got that call, I immediately told my dad, let's get there. I have to get to the place where he was killed. And my father said, no, we're not going. And I said, no, you have to take me there. You have to take me to this place. And we got there, and he was gone because he passed in the ambulance. It sent me to a whole nother place for 10 years. I was angry. I was upset. I was angry with his friends that was with him. I was angry with family. I was angry with myself because I wanted everybody to feel the same pain that I felt. But they couldn't. They couldn't feel this pain. I couldn't put that pain on them. But I wanted them to feel this pain. I didn't understand why they didn't feel this pain like I was feeling. But they did. They did. I found myself not being able to be angry anymore with his friends that was with him because I was hurting myself.
Right.
I was dying in the inside. For 10 years, I died in the inside. I put myself in this bubble. So I decided to start my shirts. It was his name, Pip. Prayer is power.
Awesome.
I wasn't going in that direction. I have a shoe business. I wasn't going in that direction, but my business needed something else. So I decided to add shirts to the business. And I was thinking of all these fans with heels and shoes and everything. And God placed it on my heart for me to start doing these shirts and to use my brother's name.
Mm-hmm.
And I launched the shirts, put the shirts out, and then I decided, okay, well, what's my next shirt? Well, what am I going to do now? What's my next shirt? I'm going to go to shoes. And God said, no. You're going to go to things that's inside of you that's still hurting.
Awesome.
To put these on shirts so people can know that's feeling the same way.
Yes.
So that's how I'm coping and dealing with my brother's loss, by just seeing his name.
Right. So you both of you guys, there's a coincidence. I think Valencia, we was talking that there's a coincidence in what happened to you guys' brother.
Yeah, Tamika and I used to work together many years ago. And when we worked together, we laughed and joked and played around together. I'm everybody that know me know I'm a very straightforward person. I don't really deal with a whole lot of people. But she was one of those people that, we were always cool. But this situation kind of brought us together in a whole nother way. Our stories are just so similar that Tamika was actually with my brother and I when we partied that night because Tamika's birthday, your birthday the day after. What day is your birthday on?
The 25th.
Yes. Her birthday is the day after my brother's birthday. Mm-hmm. And she was one of the ones that came out. We was all in one place and we partied hard. So we connect on that level. And in the beginning, I would say, you know, it was a tragic bond, but it's at a whole nother level.
Okay.
But we help each other, because if you haven't been through it, then you'll never understand exactly what it is that we're going through. You know, some people say, yeah, I lost a sibling. But if you haven't had a sibling that you're that close to that was murdered, it's something completely different.
Give me a call, 1-800-450-7876. Again, the number is 1-800-450-7876. If you have someone in your life that you've lost due to a tragedy, or if you know someone that has lost someone due to a tragedy, please call in and let's talk about it. Remember, the radio show is basically to help others to cope and to not so much overcome. We're going to scratch that word out, because you will never overcome the loss of a loved one. But this is what I want to ask you guys. And like I said, being a police officer and seeing the different situations, shootings, robberies, muggings, and all that. And I had to always be in a place of staying professional and not letting it bother me. Mm-hmm. But I'm a son of God, a child of God, so it affects me. So I know if it affects me the way it is, and I don't know the individual, and I'm quite sure that for the family member, that is 10 times worse. If you had a magic wand, if you had a magic wand, and we know the magic wand would be to bring your siblings back, we definitely know that. But if you had a magic wand and you could just touch others to help others realize that life is real, you know, what would you do to like enlighten someone else or another individual how they should go about their lives on a daily basis? Because we're kind of like all over the place. I think people don't know that component that they need to be stand-up citizens in this time. What would you, if you had a magic wand, and we start with you, Tamika, what would you bestow upon somebody to move forward, to just be, you know, law-abiding citizens, great family members, or just good people, period?
In order for you to be the best person that you can be,
Right.
I feel like you have to dig deep.
Okay.
You have to dig deep into your soul and find out what's going on with you. You have to talk. You have to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Again, today is the very first day that I am able to share
Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
this story for 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So just for people to dig deep and find things for them to, you know, to hold on to, and to be able to get in touch with yourself.
Right. Okay. Ms. Valencia?
I would say always think about yourself when you are interacting with other people or your family. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Right. You know, that's one of my biggest things is people don't have compassion nowadays. It's like everything is judged or overthought. And it's like, for me, I try my best to, and I may not do it sometimes, but I try my best to go out and I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes. Mm-hmm. You know, that could be me or that could be my family member. So because of that, I try to be a little more compassionate in my thinking and in my delivery with everything. And I try to help people as much as I possibly can.
Okay. What are the things that you guys think about? Share with the listening audience. What do you think about when you think about the loss of your loved one that makes you smile? Because right, my grandmother passed when I was 12, and my grandma meant the world to me, and I often, and that's when I was 12, I'm 50 now, but I often think about her when I'm in a certain mood, and I can just think about some of the things she did to me that made me smile. What is something? Okay. We'll be back after these commercials. You listen to the Archie Beslow radio show. Let's figure it out. We'll be back on the other half. Thank you.
She like, shut it up.
Yeah, that's my engineer. I love my engineer. She always on point. So I'm gonna get back into it because people need to know that. People in the reason why I'm even having this discussion about thinking about positive things about a lost loved one, because that's also a healing. If we can think about the good and make us smile, that keeps the person still with us.
Absolutely.
So that's why I was going with that question. Like my grandmother, I can think about when she on Easter when she bought these sky blue slacks for me, and just by her being my grandma, I'm gonna wear them because my grandmother bought me some sky blue slacks.
Right.
I'm wearing them for her. But if my mom would have bought me some sky blue slacks, or I'd been like, I'm not doing that. So when we come back on the other side, I want to talk about things to allow us to cope in the loss of a loved one. We were just talking prior to the show coming on. I'll get to that because that'll stir something else up. Y'all know me, that'll stir something else up. So what? And we will address it again once we come back on the air. What are some of the things that when you think about your loved one that makes you smile?
My brother's personality alone was amazing. He had this bubbly, loving personality, and like Tamika was saying, how her brother would embrace people. If my brother knew you was upset with him, he would purposely grab you and hug you and just tell you can be mad at me all you want, but I love you anyway. That was just his personality. He wouldn't allow people to be down and upset around him. And I think I learned from him to always bring the positive out of something negative. Okay. He taught me that because he would be in the worst situations, but he always found something positive out of it. And from there, I went on. I'm like, okay, if he was able to do it, he incarcerated, and he's still finding something positive out of his situation. My brother had an axe slashed. Somebody hit him in the face with an axe and broke the bridge of his nose. This fool in the hospital joking and laughing at. I'm like, this boy knows halfway off, and he's joking about it. So he always found a positive and a negative. So that's one of the things that I hold on to. And his love for my mother. His love for my mother. He tell people quick, I'm a mama's boy.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's a show that I'm definitely gonna break because I'm a mama's boy as well. I love my mama.
All of my boys are mama's boys.
Believe that. Share something with us that makes you smile as it relates to your brother.
It would be his personality. It would be his personality, and again, how no matter what the situation was, if he was mad at you that day, if you got into an argument, he'd say how he felt, and then he would grab you and hug you tight. And from that point, that was it. That was it. It was no longer brought up again. He left it where it was at.
Okay. I haven't wow, it's powerful. So those that know me, guys, you know that I talk to God on a regular basis. That's just a part of my everyday. That's what I do. I have daily conversations. That helps me cope with just life stuff. So when my thing is when you lose a loved one, just like I have conversations with the man above, I think that the loved one that you lost, that you should have conversation with that person as well.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Right. And to me, it's something about it that seemed like it's real because I would actually speak to my grandmother. I would actually talk to my grandmother, and there's always some type of sign that I get that she's listening or she's telling me to do X, Y, Z. And some people may say you tripping, whatever, but nah, it really...
You in touch.
You in touch. So there's things I'll do now as an adult, and God would give me a sign. We about to come back on. We about to come back on, people. All right, we're back. We had a caller, but the caller just disappeared, huh?
Come on, come back, caller.
Hey, you listen to the Archie Beslow radio show, Let's Figure It Out. We're back with Miss Valencia and Miss Tamika. Before we got off the air, I asked them a question about what are some of the things they think about in reference to the loss of their sibling. And guys, you can actually, we're going to kind of tell people what makes you smile when you think about your brother. And I know and you don't have to repeat because I know it's more than one thing. What else makes you smile when you think about it? What signs do you get your brother just make you smile?
Well, I'll go back to his love for my mother and myself.
Mm-hmm.
My brother would quickly tell people that his boys used to tease him like, man, you a mama's boy, you a mama's boy. And he would say quick, yeah, I'm a mama's boy. He didn't care about what people thought. He would shout it out, I'm a mama's boy. He had no shame about that. But his love ran deep, and he always found positive. In any negative situation, he would find a positive in that.
Okay. Miss Tamika?
And I would say one of the things that me and my mom was just sharing yesterday is, again, how her sons are mama's boys. Mm-hmm. And I just think about, with him, how he would get in the bed with my mother. He would be this grown man getting in the bed with my mother. And she just said that my baby brother did that yesterday. So when I say baby, I'm not talking about 5 years old or 10 years old. I'm talking about, 30-something years old. Uh-huh. And it's been plenty of times where she said, come on, get in the bed with me and watch TV and watch a movie. And I'm not getting in the bed with you. Right. But her boys would get in the bed with her and they would love her up dearly.
I got you. So, ladies, what did you not do with your brother that you wish you could have done?
It's nothing that I can say.
Okay.
And I think that's another reason why I have peace, because my brother and I were so close that we always told each other that we loved each other. Mm-hmm. We always, even though we didn't have, I wish I had more time with him in a sense of him not being incarcerated. Okay. And more time like that. And then, like I said, he came home in mid-February. His birthday was March 24th. He was murdered March 27th. Okay. So literally, 3 days later. But everything happens for a reason. And I know that there was a reason behind all of it. And that this is just how it was written out, Right.
So did you both guys, you lose your siblings around the same date, the same time? I think you said it happened around...
No, my brother, it happened with my brother March 27th, and your brother, it was...
December 23rd.
December, okay.
Right, yeah. And early on, because Tamika's birthday is right there with my brother, I think early on I grouped all of that up together.
Okay.
But yeah, it was not too, the gap wasn't too far.
All right. So, Miss Tamika, what is it that you wish you could do that you didn't do with your brother?
I can't really say anything because we were really close. Awesome. Our bond was tight. I mean, we partied together, we talked together, we cried together. I remember the day my brother died, the same day that my grandmother died, just 2 years apart, the exact same day. And I remember when my grandmother passed, we going to the hospital, me and him, and I had just had surgery. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't drive. Okay. And he said, well, I'm going to drive this car from Temple Hills to Bethesda. Okay. I said, no, you're not going to drive. I'm going to drive. Mm-hmm. And I remember going to the hospital, and the only thing that I could think about was they came and told us that, my grandmother had passed. Yes. And at that point, I just started crying, and I said, well, what about Mommy? Well, what about Mommy? Because that was my mother's best friend. Yeah. That was my mother's heart. And I said, well, what about Mommy? Well, what about Mommy? He said, I'm going to make sure you guys are okay. Awesome. You guys are okay. So
the loss of a we all know that death is I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, that's what they train us, they teach us, they say it's going to happen. I'm one of the dudes that think I'm going to live to be 150. That's just how I think. I'm gonna stay in the gym. I'm gonna try to eat right, and I'm gonna try to live as long as I can to help as many people as I can. A tragic loss so I'm a mentor. I mentor a lot of young men and a lot of young ladies. I often get phone calls from individuals who have lost a friend. And we know how it is today when a lot of our youngins are losing a lot of their friends to violence.
They're numb to it.
Right, and so Valencia, that's a very valid. The kids get numb to it, almost like they treat it as like it's a TV show.
Yeah.
They mourn it. They mourn it because that's an emotional reaction, but it's almost like the next day they're kind of memorializing the kid for whatever reason. And I'm not one to tell anybody how to mourn a loss or you mourn the way you mourn. But I just want us to get to a point where we're actually teaching our young people and even our adults that we need to take care of things that are important now,
Yes.
opposed to waiting to say I should have did X, Y, Z when an individual has now gone on. And it goes back to my key word I always talk about is consistency. If we're consistent in loving, then a lot of people will still be here. And that's facts. If we spend time based off of our time, but when we spend time unconditionally with the people that we know that need to be for us to spend time with, when we break away from them, we put them in the mindset of no one cares about me. They just caring about me because they feel sorry for me. And there are a lot of people that deal with that on a daily basis. You guys can speak to that as well about people put in time just to say they're putting time in. But you as an individual, you know that you're just putting time in just because you feel sorry for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that and also the people that will say to you, because I had a lot of people with my brother. My brother was cremated, and we had a memorial. And you get those people that, we're going to stay in touch, and we're going to look out for it. And, like, I haven't heard from them in almost 11 years. And I'm like, where are you? You know?
Where are you? Where were you?
Yeah, you have those people. So I'm one of those ones that's guilty of the time. I'd bury myself in work. But I did that for so long because, like I said, I didn't really address and mourn my brother's death until maybe like 5 years ago. And I was running from it. I buried myself in my work, business after business after business, and just being busy. And it took one of my closest friends to tell me, by the time you make time, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
And when she told me that, I was like, wow, it stung a little bit, but it was true. It was true.
I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, and the people that I talk to, they talk about family members, how, and you guys can interact with this, some of your closest friends are outside of your family.
All of my closest friends are outside of my family.
I want to know why. I need that answer. I kind of know why, but I always ask why. Because if we're bleeding the same blood, and we came out of the same womb, why aren't you treating me as such? Why are you treating others outside of me better than you're treating me? You want to speak? Go.
I want you to give me the answer.
You want to speak to that? I just wanted, even if you don't know why, maybe there's a question that you can ask the people, because this, to me, is mind-boggling.
I really don't know why.
Right.
I really would love an answer.
Yeah.
1-800-450-7876. 1-800-450-7876. Please give us a call.
Call us with the answer.
Somebody give me an answer. You got an answer, Miss Tiny? We're gonna hear Miss Tiny's answer on the break live on Facebook. Believe that. But this is a very serious question, and we're going back on break. I love shows when shows kind of go the way they're going. But yes, this is the Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out. And also, if you need a speaker, by all means, reach out to me. Email me at archiebeslow@gmail.com. I would love to come speak to you at church, in schools, or wherever you need me to be. We'll be right back after these commercials. Thank you.
At home.
So, we still on air. We're back. Yeah, y'all love my hearts. Thank you, heart people. Here she comes. Miss Tiny. Miss Tiny coming. So she was a part of the same tragedy. She's lost a couple of people as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
You say, so why do people treat outsiders better than your
Yes.
own? I have a sister I don't like.
Okay.
I have two brothers I don't
At
like.
all. I don't talk to them.
At all.
Right.
I think people confuse the conception that we're related, but being related doesn't mean that you're family.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because those are the ones that will use or abuse you quicker than anybody else. So though that's my blood, that's my sister, or we share the same father or whatnot, but she's self-centered. She's
Right.
narcissistic. For her, when it's convenient to be bothered with me, it is. And I'm like, why would if I wouldn't deal with that from somebody who's not related to me, why would I deal with that just because we're related?
Absolutely.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
We good, boo.
Yeah, people are people. Just
People
people
are
are
people.
people. Yeah.
Right. So in this, and like the ladies, and I totally get it, but I still there's something in the atmosphere that causes the disconnect. Because the way we're
Personality.
And I
Right.
think people believe what they're doing is actually
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not being told that.
No, so they told, because she got her rights completely read to her. On
But when
several
they're
occasions.
told, they're like, no, that person is wrong, not me.
Right.
Something wrong with that person.
That's
It's not me.
self-centered,
Yeah.
narcissistic. But
Yeah,
that's
I
that's
have
that
a brother like
personality
that.
issue.
I have a
That's-
brother like that.
And then we lost our brother, so then everybody tried to rally up and let's put this away. But it's only a matter of time when it's who you are, it comes
It
back.
comes back.
Come back.
Yep,
It
absolutely.
comes back, and then you're out on the odds again. So that's why.
I
Yeah, because I mean, it's just that related does not mean family.
what's the old? Can't we all just get along?
I got headphones on the other side.
So that was my dynamite engineer, Miss Tiny, and you're right. Your brothers and sisters. I say it all the time. You're family. You family by association, by blood, but you don't act like family on a regular basis. I don't know. You guys
And some people are just haters.
haters. Some people are just haters.
Some people are just haters.
Yeah.
Siblings are not. They're sibling rivalry for a reason.
Yeah.
And some of your siblings are jealous. You got the same opportunities. We both got the same. You got cases where both have the same parents, grew up in the same house, but they chose totally different
Right.
paths.
Right.
And then one is, hello,
But
it's
do
in
you
the
think the
Bible, Cain
parents-
and Abel.
But
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
the parents sometimes put that between the kids, because that can happen too, where sometimes the parents put that between the kids, where now the child is jealous because
I don't
one
think it's
favor-
intentional, but I think that by nature you're always going to favor the one who's giving me the least heartache, or I can't not praise you when you're doing what you're supposed to
Right.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, I gotta bail out every other week. It don't mean I love you less. Unfortunately, parents do. Some of them do have favors,
They
but
do.
at the same time, I've learned in retrospect that sometimes we're spiritual. We don't want to speak things into existence, but you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see your
Yeah.
kids, and you can see who's likely going down what path, and it's like,
But what happens in a situation where you have that kid that is doing really well and they're doing good, but you won't cater to that kid, you won't help that kid, but you will help the kid that's always getting into trouble.
and that's the opposite.
That's
because
hope-
then
that's
it's
trying
like,
to-
I
I'm
know
trying-
you're gonna be all right, but I gotta try to save
Exactly.
the one
Yep.
that's
Yep.
going down.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah.
The focus shifts. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, I shoot it straight, no chaser. Yeah. All right, we're back. We just had a very powerful impromptu conversation offline. So we were talking about because even with tragedies, funerals, what have you, it's amazing how, and I'll say it, at the repast and everybody's hugging one another, everybody, telling individuals, yeah, call me if you need me, I'm going to be here for you, yada, yada, yada. Stop it. I want people to stop.
Just stop.
Because at the end of the day, if you're going to do it, you don't have to tell me you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to just do it. And with me, you should be giving that person a phone call anyway. We spend unlimited time on Facebook, unlimited time on Snapchat, unlimited time binge watching movies or whatever. And it's somebody in your family that needs you to call them. Or it's somebody in your family that's going through something and everybody in your family is like, then turned their back towards them. And that you have on your heart to be someone to at least call and say, hey, I'm just checking on you. Mm-hmm. Where's that drive to not, it's the word, I'm not even going to say force. Where's that drive that we have on our heart to know that somebody's suffering in our immediate family, that we just don't pick the phone up and say, hey, are you okay? Even if they say, nah, sis, or no, cuz, I ain't okay. Well, is there something you want to talk about? Even say, well, now I don't want to talk about it, whatever. And then you say, okay, we don't have to talk about it, but just know this, I love you. People don't know how powerful it is for someone to tell someone that's going through so much to simply say, I love you.
Yeah.
And just by me saying that right now, it forces a person to be like, wow, I either wish somebody would tell me this, or I'm going to tell somebody this as soon as I finish, doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So why is it, ladies, that you think that we don't express our love as much as we should to the people that we know we need to express it to?
I'm so baffled with that, because I know for my family, for example, I have cousins that I was raised with. Literally, they were in my house and we grew up. We were so close. My kids don't even know their kids. Man. I have people in my family that are pastors, youth pastors, and my kids have gone through things and they're out doing stuff with other people's kids and stuff, but won't reach out to help mine. I have people in my family that coach basketball, football, other stuff. My kids left hanging. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it makes me just pour that much more into my own kids. I had 7. Right. And for mine, I have a different connection with each one of my kids. Mm-hmm. So I try to be fair and I try to make everything general with all of them, because I don't want anybody to feel some type of way with me paying more attention. But just like it was stated earlier, you may have kids that you just don't have any issues with, where it may seem like you're favoring them. It's not that. It's just that I don't have any problems with this child.
Gotcha.
But the family unit that once was, it's lost. It's lost now. After my great-grandmother passed, for my family, we lost it. Yeah. We lost it. It was no more get together on the holidays, come to Virginia, or all us pack up and go to. It's none of that. So for me now, it's my household, my mother, and I have an aunt that I'm extremely close with. She's like my second mom. But that's it for us.
I got you. So, Ms. Tamika, if Lord, y'all got me. Y'all know Archie get when Coach Archie gets stuck, my mind be racing. I be trying to. So yeah, if there was a phone call that that you was going to receive in 2 hours, and not even knowing who the person is, what would you want to hear from someone on the other end of that phone call?
Hey, how are you? I miss talking to you.
Amen. Right.
Let's talk. Let's get together. I love you. I need to talk.
Right. We always say this, the Archie Beslow radio show is a solution-based show. I don't know if you guys caught what Mr. Mika said, but pick up the phone. Call somebody that you haven't talked to. I miss you, what you've been up to. I love you. How are things going? It's simple, people. Miss Valencia, what about you? What would you, 2 hours from now, you get home and that phone ring, what would you want the person on the other end of that phone to say?
It's simple as hey, I'm just checking on you. That's it.
Right.
Because I do it all the time to everybody. I'll randomly just text people and say, hey, how you doing? Just checking on you. Everything good? I always do it. I don't get it.
Right. What I don't, and we've talked about this too on past shows, is people hide behind it. You can text somebody and say you love them all day long, but that doesn't carry the same weight of someone actually hearing your voice. Mm-hmm. The thing about hearing somebody live and hearing their voice, I'm a spiritual type of dude. I base my life based off of spirits. I connect with spirits. If you call me and say, hey man, I miss you, right off the break, I don't know if you're being sincere.
Right.
If you're not sincere, I'm like, hey, that's good to know. I'm busy right now. Right? But if somebody called me and say, hey, Archie, man, you're doing great things, man. I'm proud of you, man. Man, I miss you, man. Let's get together. So that's warm. That's warming to me. And that's, whether I call that person back or not, that still is going to sit with me to know that at least I'm touching someone. You feel me? But because everybody wants to be appreciated. Right. No matter what you do. Like I still to this day, I still hold doors. I open doors for people, whether it be a man or a woman. I'll stand. You know, there's like I call it a step limit. If a person is 3 steps away, it's almost like you're obligated to hold the door. Well, I don't have a step limit. If I see you coming through the same door that I'm going through, I'm going to wait and hold the door. I get dudes look at me sometimes like, oh man, thanks, brother. man, yeah, thanks. What I just done for that dude at that moment, it's gonna make him think, man, I got to pass that on to somebody else.
Pay it forward.
You feel me? And I love everybody, so I don't do the racist thing. But the same situation, if I was to hold the door for somebody that's not African American, they look at me like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why has it become now such a, like you just hit the Powerball?
It's unheard of.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just hold the door. I dare people to say thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my husband and I were talking about that. It's like we live in a world now where everybody overthinks everything.
Right.
Everybody's overly sensitive. Everything is a racial thing. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like you said, I love everybody. I don't care what color you are. I don't do the whole support black business. No,
right,
if they're not supporting themselves,
right.
I'm not going to go somewhere with poor customer service, whether you black or whatever you are. If your customer service is not great, I'm not coming back.
Right. For those that know me, I'm a very calculated person. So yeah, I went from losing siblings to every day.
Right.
Yeah. Because and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
So my point of it is, don't regret not doing something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And another thing, so I tell everybody all the time, I still to this day, I'm 50, and I always brag about my age because I'm like, you know, when I thought about people being 50 back in the day, I'm like, good Lord, you 50? You can't walk. You can barely. Nah, it's a new day. But I still live my life every day to make my mom proud of me. Mm-hmm. You know, and it goes from making my mom proud of me to making my sons proud of me to making, you know, my grandmother that's not here proud of me. So my focus is to make others proud. Mm-hmm. And with me, that gives me encouragement that also allows me to get a lot of blessings in, and also allow me to bring dynamite young ladies like you into the studio to share your story, because to even share the story with me, you had to have some type of trust.
Right.
You had to feel a certain way to even do it. And like Mr. Mika said, this is our first time opening up. That's the power of being transparent. That's the power of being sincere. There are a lot of people that's on this planet. I got 2 minutes. Good God, time flies when you're having fun. Y'all should see Miss Tiny. She's put up 2 fingers and stood up with a V like she was a cheerleader back in the day. Nah, but Mr. Meek, I want you to give me some closing remarks.
I just say for anyone that is out there that has a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and don't know how to pick the pieces up, you think about your loved one, and you just know that they want you to keep on pushing.
Amen.
Step out of that bubble. Step out of that spot that you're in, that rough spot. What gets me by is me just saying, I can do it. I'm doing this for him. I'm doing this for him. Everything I do is #Pip, I do it for us siblings.
Amen. All right, Ms. V, we about to wrap it up. Can you give me a quick closeout?
All I want to say is love on each other. That's it.
Amen.
That's it.
All right. Well, you heard it. Once again, I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I thank God Almighty for giving me the platform to reach out to you guys every Sunday from 10 to 11. I'm not perfect, but I'm a good dude. So I'll see you guys next week. And thanks for listening to WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, and the Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out. God bless you all. Love you. And see you next week. That is a wrap. Thank you, Facebook family. Y'all gonna say goodbye to the ladies?
Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
Once again, another Dynamite show, man. I thank God and I thank you all. Thanks for being loyal listeners. See you on the other side.